All right, so we're going to talk about homework 5 today, and it's kind of has two purposes. One is to just get you some practice using the Unix Vim editor. Again, the Vim editor is kind of the standard Unix editor, and it's always good to know a little bit of Vim. It is my editor of choice, and if you go out on the internet, there's lots of like flame wars and stuff about which editor is best. You know, a lot of like Vim versus Emacs. Those are the kind of two classic Unix editors. Um, I don't really get involved in that. I mean, I use Vim because it's kind of what I started using, and I'm really good at it, which is hard to move to other editors. I think um, at this get today probably the most popular new editor is VS Code. So if you're doing a lot of code editing, you might look at VS Code. If you're only doing Python, you might look at PyCharm. There are other editors that people like, Sublime Text, Atom, other ones like that. But the two kind of pure Unix editors are Emacs and Vim. And the Vim is, you can basically rest assured that Vim would be installed on most any Unix distribution by default. And that allows you, sometimes you'll find yourself where you're working on a computer that is headless. That is, it doesn't have a graphical user interface at all. The only way you interact with it is you log in through the terminal window. I mean, this is typical of like supercomputing environments. You log into the computer through the terminal window and you just interact it from there, run code. And if you need to edit code on that machine, if the machine doesn't have a graphical user interface at all, well, you can't use Atom or something like that, Sublime Text. So you have to use some kind of text only editor. And again, Vim is one that it's useful to know at least a few commands. If you do really like it and sort of understand how it works, I mean, hopefully the video where you got to see me edit some code kind of demonstrated some of the utility and how quickly I can edit code. And as the class goes on and we do more demonstrations, you'll get to see me edit code more often, and you'll probably, I don't know, be impressed or whatever, at how fast I can edit code. And, I know it seems like when you're first starting out that is, what editor uses or just using a proper editor shouldn't make a difference, but it makes a huge difference. Like when I use Vim, my hands never leave the keyboard. I the home row, right? So I'm just continuously editing text from the home row, and and never reaching for the mouse or anything like that. And each time you reach for the mouse, it's like 1 second delay. Well, that 1 second delay times 1,000 times a day times 15 years now that, or 20 years now that I've been coding, it adds up to hours or days of productivity lost just reaching for my mouse, right? Not to mention, the million other things you do with an editor, right? So, yeah. So the assignment today, there's this file hello.c, which is just a very simple hello world program written in C. However, there are some typos in the actual code. So this is the actual code. I give you the correct solution in the README here. And so the idea then is to correct the code, and you can go ahead and test it once you have it correct to make sure it compiles and runs. But after you do that, then what you'll want to do is actually create a bug fix branch. So you have to create a new branch within Git, create that branch, and then you'll want to push that branch back to GitHub, and then go into GitHub and create a pull request, which I will accept. So the final solution to this assignment requires me going into GitHub, accepting or merging your pull request, and then it'll be back into the master branch, and the test will pass from there. Okay. So yeah, I mean, here you're basically going to be working on the command line. So if you go into that directory, you'll see hello world, which you can open up with Vim or with VI, and then again, just to demonstrate some of the edits, I can move directly to the first quotation marks with F quote, and then I can replace that with, R greater than sign. Then I can immediately move my cursor to the end of the string, replace that, go down 2 lines with JJ, find the first single quote, replace that with a double quote, go down a line, 0, semicolon, right quit. So I just worked that whole assignment in about 8 keystrokes, right? Without ever moving my hands off the home row or anything like that. Right? So from here, then I would follow the git commands to create a new branch. Make a commit. And then push that branch back to GitHub, go and open a pull request. I'll leave that part for you guys.